All right, ladies and gentlemen, you saw Raw, you see people talking about it, but this ref right here, he screwed Chad Gable. In fact, he ruined WrestleMania. Well, at least according to the outrage on Twitter, that's what people truly believe. But you need to understand something very significant about the WWE that you are currently watching in 2024. And I'm going to break it down in today's video. Chad Gable wasn't screwed. Now, we often see in pro wrestling, everybody overreacts. In fact, I even overreacted when Cody gave up his WrestleMania spot to The Rock. And then literally, in a very short period of time, WWE, like a flip of a switch, completely got me back. And the way that they did it was by creating a more compelling storyline. Now, you have to understand something. Chad Gable has very big things in his distant future. But I say distant future because if you have been watching WWE, and more specifically the Triple H regime, everything has become a slow burn. WrestleMania is not ruined. WrestleMania is not the end of every storyline, and in some cases it could be the beginning of a new storyline. You should have many stories come to fruition at WrestleMania, and I'm hoping that's what happens with Cody and the Bloodline. But in other matches, it could be the beginning of something new. Now, I said in my live stream that Gunther should retain at WrestleMania if Chad Gable is not competing at WrestleMania against Gunther. Gunther has this incredibly historic long reign. He should be at WrestleMania 40, standing tall as champion. Chad Gable, on the other hand, in my humble opinion, needs to, at some point, get a push. Now, weeks ago on my main channel, I have talked about this rumor that is circulating that Chad Gable is due for a serious push. Now, serious is a very interesting word because in September, Chad Gable was going after the Intercontinental Championship. His daughter was watching front row and he lost. And you thought that would have been the lead to a massive push. But WWE, again, is doing everything slow burn. After that match, Chad Gable went on to be more of a comedy wrestler again. He was being very comedic. The thank yous and the shoosh. Alpha Academy, Tozawa, Maxine. He went back to his old ways. And sure enough, Chad Gable is now being given another opportunity to run the gauntlet. And 2 weeks in a row, WWE magically brings back a more serious Chad Gable. But here it is. Chad Gable is more serious than ever after 2 weeks of video packages, and everybody expects him to win the gauntlet. Everybody expects him to go on to WrestleMania and become champion. And at the end of the day, I do not believe that is part of WWE's plans. I believe WWE's plans for Chad Gable is to build sympathy, to get people to actually feel sympathetic for him. The same way that they've done so with Bayley, and the same way that they've done so with Cody and Seth. WWE is now adding that element to the mid-card championship picture. And it's actually a pretty damn good strategy, because if you think 2 weeks of serious video packages is enough, well, the WWE regime does not actually agree with you, because WWE likes telling stories at their own pace and their own time. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. As much as I am patient, and I usually let things play out, I do have to remind you that WWE has to be fairly careful here. There is a lot of people already beginning to tweet, "We want Gable." And WWE changed plans or whatever it was with Cody. So every time something doesn't go their way, the fans' way, WWE is going to be met with criticism from fans. And I usually call this fake outrage. Now, at the end of the day, I do want Chad Gable to become a champion, and I want Chad Gable to eventually become a world heavyweight champion. And I do think it is actually possible for him to accomplish that. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's not going to work while he's associated with the Alpha Academy. It's not. The Alpha Academy has a comedic stink all over it. And Chad Gable, even having any association with that, will make him less credible. We will take him less serious. We see these video packages, we see Chad Gable the father, and we see Chad Gable being a different type of person when he is competing with Gunther or when he is competing for the IC title opportunities. He becomes a whole different beast. That is the beast that we want with Chad Gable. And in order to make that happen, you have to write consistent television, getting you closer and closer to that. And that's what the gauntlet match was. Now, I said this on my live stream, that Sami Zayn is a credible opponent, and he could afford the loss to Gunther. I could also see WWE making it a triple threat match because this referee screwed up. Remember, Gable's shoulders were not down on the mat. The ref didn't see it. That could have very well been done on purpose. So is this WWE trying to build sympathy? I think so. The more sympathy, the more outrage, right? WWE is manufacturing a lot of these reactions, by the way. They are purposely scripting things on television to get you to feel a certain way. And I don't put it past WWE that they have done this in hopes that people will show up and speak out for Chad Gable. Now, personally speaking, I feel like Chad Gable should beat Gunther one-on-one at WrestleMania. But at the same time, if you're going to do a triple threat match as a way to find a spot on the card for Gable, Zayn, and Gunther, then this allows Gunther to drop his Intercontinental Championship without being pinned, which means Chad Gable could dethrone Sami Zayn. Now, everybody's going to have a different opinion on this, but it's like Cody Rhodes winning the WWE Championship. He could beat anybody for it, and technically that's the story, but the story got so much more interesting when Cody and Roman were feuding. And that's kind of how I feel about Gable and Gunther. So everybody's going to have a different opinion on it. But I think this is another lesson for people. Be patient. Be understanding that WWE is not going to give you everything that you want every single time you demand it. WWE will give it to you, but it's going to take time. Stories don't have to conclude at WrestleMania, but stories could begin at WrestleMania. I also think you guys need to consider one more thing about WrestleMania 40 this year. Bayley, potential, babyface win against Io Sky. Magnificent. That's huge, right? Cody Rhodes finishing the story. Magnificent, right? LA Knight potentially winning maybe the U.S. Championship, right? There's rumors that they might do a multi-man ladder match. LA Knight wins it, for example. There's a lot of opportunities for top baby faces to win at WrestleMania. At some point, heels are going to have to win. And the only two that I could genuinely think of as like realistic, excluding The Rock and Roman, would be Drew McIntyre and Gunther. Now, Vince McMahon traditionally has babyfaces go over at WrestleMania. We don't really know what Triple H's vision is, so keep that in mind. Did this ref ruin WrestleMania? I don't think so, but we'll see. Let me know what you guys think down below.